Chookers, and welcome to Quirky Crafts and Collectibles. I'm Pandora Box, and today's episode I have a very special guest. Yes, you've heard me speak about her many times. It is my mother-in-law, Rhonda. Welcome to the show.
Hello Pandora, how are you?
I'm very good.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming. Now, how often do we have somebody very special in our lives that have collected toys from when they were a child and they still have their toys? Now we're going to take you back from when Rhonda, now can I ask how old you are?
83.
83. Now you're wondering where I get all my collectibles and my crafts. Blame this woman here. She's taught me quite a lot and inspired me with a lot of collecting and crafts as well. So we're going to go into your collection, your crafts, pretty quirky I reckon, and a lot of fun. So let's start with your toys, and you've still got the toys, and I am privileged that you've passed them on to me. Oh, I love my dolls. You know how much I love my dolls.
Yes, I do.
So we're going to come over here, and these are some of your dolls that you've had from a child. So where do we go from here? Where do we start? Where would...
Well, I'd say this one here and this one here I've had since I was 11.
11?
Yes.
Wow.
They were brought back overseas. This one I think came from Finland, and I think this one came from Holland.
Holland.
So since I was 11.
And these are dolls that you played with as a child? And
Well,
or
they sat on my dressing table.
they sit on your dressing table?
They weren't ones that you played with.
So this is a wooden doll.
Yes.
She's wooden. She's been clothed. Now, did you get her when she was clothed?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Exactly like
She's in
that.
there, still in the original dress she came in.
Wow. So she's kind of like 70-ish years old.
I suppose you would say something like that.
Wow. And it's just still in beautiful condition. The dress, the wood, it's just beautiful. And you know, it has articulation in it as well. 5 points, I think it's got, yes, the hips, the arms, not the head. So 4 points of articulation. I'm very, very into articulation. I'm learning the word, mind you. And this one here this is a plastic, it's
like celluloid.
celluloid, yes.
Yes.
And how old would she be? Because she looks very,
I was
very...
about the same age.
Same
about
age.
10. I mean, back in those days we had celluloid, we never had plastic.
That's right.
Yes.
And would they be expensive to have a toy like that?
I don't know, they were brought back from overseas for me, so I couldn't say about that. I think they were like souvenir dolls
Oh, wow.
way back then.
So who would have given this to you? Like,
They were friends of my mum and dad who went for a trip overseas.
oh, talking about overseas, your mum has been overseas a few
Yeah,
times.
she went in 1954 for a trip on the Himalaya, and this one came back from New Guinea.
New Guinea. Oh, he's a celluloid too. Or
Yes.
or is a hard plastic.
I don't know, well, it was in the 1954s.
So he's quite an old
Yeah,
oh, his eyes move as well. And the straws, the skirt's just starting to...
Is it?
It's just starting to...
Oh,
look
yeah,
at that.
with age.
With age. Well, he's still pretty handsome, I think.
With age.
And who else do we have? Now, we go through these. Now, before we go there, these are quite interesting.
Yeah, these are very old. I can't say how old. I've had them since I was a kid. They're made of straw, wheat. They're wheat. They're little husk dolls made of wheat husks.
Oh, wow.
They are, with wooden heads. So they're pretty old.
They are. So, they're corn
husks.
Corn
Yeah.
husks.
Yes.
So, I don't know if you can see the corn husks there.
Corn husks they were made with.
You've got three.
I've got three, yes. They're supposed to be little kitchen people.
Oops. They're absolutely gorgeous.
We had those when we were kids. That's what we had to play with.
So that's what you played with?
Yeah, well, yeah, I had them, because you got to remember I came through the war, and dolls and things were hard to get hold of.
And this is what you... And you really looked after your toys, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
It's still in beautiful condition.
Yes.
And then we have these ones here.
Yeah, these are the straw dolls,
So these are straw dolls.
and they're made from straw.
And you bought them or you made them?
No, I was given them.
Given as well.
Yeah, I was given them. I think one of my great aunts might have given them to me at one stage.
Oh, wow.
So,
And they belong to me now.
yes, I know. I've given them to
I have a very special shelf where these dolls go. Look at this little tiny one here.
Oh, this was something that came around for our bicentenary.
Oh, it's got the Australian flag.
Yeah, the
Kangaroo.
Yeah,
You see that's so tiny there.
for the bicentenary.
And these corn dolls and this little doll, they still belong to Rhonda, and they go into a beautiful cabinet that you've got
My
a
china
lot of
cabinet.
your china cabinet with a lot of special
Yes.
dolls in there. Now this is a special one. This is now have a look at this doll. Okay, have a really good look at this doll. It's a handmade doll, isn't it? Now do you know what this is made out of? Do you want to tell them?
It's a peg.
A peg.
A peg.
That you put your clothes, you hang your clothes. So underneath, if you can see, there's the peg, and it's dressed up in a.
This one a friend brought back from America from the Amish, and that's what it is. But during the war, when we were growing up as kids, we had peg dolls.
And that's what she played with. That's
Yeah,
what
well,
she
that's what we
dressed up
had.
and-
Yeah, and we dressed them up with pegs. It was quite a thing to have a collection of peg dolls.
Peg dolls and dressed them.
But a friend brought that one back from me
Wow.
a few years ago from America.
And these ones here, they're not peg dolls, but they're
Wooden dolls.
wooden dolls again, and pot cleaners.
With pipe cleaners, yeah, we used to make them like that with a wooden bead and pipe cleaners, like that.
Yeah, you must have had a lot of fun. I mean, like, these are absolutely gorgeous to have, to play with. Did you play with other
Oh,
friends with them?
yeah.
or-
We were the girls in the street, and the girls, yeah, there were quite a few girls in our street. Yeah, we all had played with dolls like that as well. Yeah, played with all those things. I forgot I had them.
And now we go into some of your. Now this is a wooden doll.
Yes, that's a wooden doll. She's all tied together. Never got round to dressing her.
So how old would she be?
Oh, crikey. Somewhere in maybe late 40s, early 50s, something like that she was.
Just in perfect condition too, and the elastic's still great.
Yeah, the elastic still goes. She needs a dress.
She needs a dress.
You'll have to dress her,
I'll have to
Pandora.
dress. I'll have to dress
Have
her.
to
Yeah,
dress her.
she's in my collection. I'll have to dress her. All right, now here we go. This doll here,
Oh, she's from Peru.
Peru. Well, yeah, you can see the actual.
She's a
design.
souvenir doll from Peru. She's got a baby on the back.
Oh, she does too. Look, she belongs to me, and I just noticed she's got a baby on the back,
That's yours.
and she's holding a baby as well.
Yes, that's how they carry their, in Peru, that's how women carry their babies.
Babies. Now, this was given to you by somebody that went over there, or that's from here?
No, it was given to me from somebody
right.
that went over this when I gave it to you.
And then you gave it to me, yes. Rhonda, I have to say, you're a very loved child, weren't you? Everybody loved you, giving you gifts and stuff. Wow. And to look after them in beautiful condition. Now, I remember, not that I was around, but I do remember these kind of dolls.
The Cupid Dolls.
Cupid dolls. I do have one, and I can't find her anywhere. And she actually, you got them at the Easter show.
Yeah, they were the Easter show dolls, and they were on they had a net dress around them, and they were on a crook thing, and everybody wanted a Cupid doll, but you could buy the Cupid dolls yourself
As that.
and dress them up. But they're made of a funny kind of.
Yeah, this is a soft
Yeah,
plastic.
yes, but they are. And the Cupid dolls, if you look at the faces, especially of this one, they're modelled after around about the 30s.
Yeah, I can actually say, I can see the hairdo as well. Very 30s in that
Yeah, they
respect.
were, because when you went to the Royal Easter Show, even during the war, they were still around. And that's that style, and they never changed.
No. And I actually bought mine. Oh, I wish I could find it. And I think she has the cane.
Yes,
They come with a cane, and they were tied up, and they had this really beautiful frill
It was
around.
made of net.
Net,
It was
netting,
just
yeah.
a gathered net, and that's all they were.
Yeah.
I think.
And I think they painted the body.
Yeah, they
top,
painted the
bodice.
photo of that. I think the dress fell a piece on that one, but that originally came from the Royal Easter Show.
Yeah.
That's another Cupid doll.
Oh, this
there.
is another Cupid doll. Now it is too. Now this is one you've actually dressed yourself.
Yeah, I crocheted her. Yes, I
crochet.
love Cupid dolls.
You do, don't you? Because
Yes.
there's this one too.
Yes.
She's got a little hat. Oh, look at the embroidery.
But I've had them for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, this one's got...
Yes, I dressed that one. The eyes closed. The little celluloid dolls were very popular. This is a big Cupid.
Oh, she's a big one. Yes, that's right.
That's my big Cupid doll.
She's a big one.
I dressed that one. So they would go back to maybe the 50s, something like that. That's the largest one I've ever had.
She's large, yeah.
The Cupid doll.
And she's a very soft plastic.
Yeah, well, she's a later.
Yeah, vinyl.
Around the 50s, 60s, something like that.
Look at this one.
Another one in my collection. And Cupid dolls were really, they never had clothes on them.
No.
They weren't supposed to.
Did they just dress them up as with nets and...
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing.
Wings.
Cupid dolls had wings on the back of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were supposed to be like a...
little angel.
Yes,
Or
exactly.
Cupid.
Yes. Cupid. Well, like that. Something like
Cupid.
that. Like that. Sally Fields
Sally Field.
in the Flying Nun.
The Flying Nun. Now she's about, what, 70s?
Yeah, when the TV show came out.
Yeah.
That belonged to my daughter. Yes, she was brought out for the Flying Nun, where a lot of TV shows, they had dolls, as you know,
Yeah.
for shows, but that's what she is.
Here, now this one here, you've done the dress, obviously. And she's a vinyl doll.
Little vinyl doll, little old vinyl doll.
She's
Little
very
baby.
cute. And how long?
Oh, I couldn't say. I forgot. About the 50s or something.
50s or 70s. So you're probably in your, what, how old?
Oh, well, I've always kept dolls. I've always
You've
liked
always had
dolls.
them.
Even when I grew up,
Yeah.
I never stopped collecting dolls
Always.
like a lot of people do.
And you still collect them, don't you?
Yes, I still collect them.
I'm only showing you a very, very, very small, but these are the oldest dolls that Rhonda has, and I thought these were special to show. Now this is another Australian doll.
This was a little Australian doll that came out as I can't remember. Oh, Matilda.
Matilda. We were trying to remember before we come on.
These are the Matilda dolls, and I think they came onto the market maybe somewhere around about the 70s, something like that.
Yeah.
They were a brand of dolls. They were called Matilda Dolls.
I actually remember them.
Yes, and they wanted something Australian because we had Barbie and had the dolls from America, so they came up with this one. Because we had Barbie and we had Cindy. Cindy is English.
Now, you've seen Cindy on a previous episode of mine, and yes, it has been passed on to me, and I have showed you Cindy. Now, we were trying to work out, is the original dress?
Yes, it is. That's
I
how
was
she
right.
came, exactly dressed like that. And I preferred Cindy to Barbie, but why I got that Cindy, because I like the dress because it's a Regency style of dress, and I'm very much of a Jane Austen fan.
Oh, we're going to come back to that one, so don't forget Jane Austen.
Very much.
Yeah.
Especially Pride and Prejudice. And she's from that era.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that I...
So I wasn't sure what I did show her with my vintage
I did make
dolls.
the little bag.
Oh,
I
okay.
crocheted the bag, but she is in the original clothes, and that would have been from about the 70s.
70s.
Yeah.
And I don't think I told you, but her eyes open and close with Cindy.
And Cindy was more from England, from English, than with Barbie American. So Australia had to come up with something.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that's why Matilda came out on the market for that same reason. We had Barbie, we had Cindy. So we had to have...
So the Australians had to have their own?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we had to have... There was a range of Matilda.
I do remember
Well,
Matilda.
see, as you know, I worked in a toy shop for a while.
That's right, yeah, you did. Yeah, you worked in a toy shop. So that's where you got her, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so you worked in a toy shop, and that's how you
Great
got
place to work.
Oh, yeah, what a place. And my husband, your son, worked there as well as a young boy.
Yes, he did as well. Yes.
Yeah,
Very
so-
great place to work.
I'm hoping to get Christopher on the show as well, because he's a collector as well. So maybe one day we'll get Chris on the show. Now these are celluloid dolls, aren't they?
Yes, they're very old. They're quite old. They're well over 60 years old. This little doll did originally belong to my daughter, and I knitted the dress when my first son was born, Craig, who's 50.
No. Oh yeah.
He's
He's
about 59. She was bought. She had to have a baby.
So that was her baby
when her brother was born. So that's how old that is.
She wanted to be mummy as well.
Yes, that was her doll.
This one here?
Yeah, that was one. This is a very old doll. That was one of my daughters. And the hair is moulded. See, these hairs are moulded. They never had hair like dolls. Later on came with hairs. They were always moulded. And this is a little boy doll. Boy dolls weren't very common because the girls preferred girls.
So how did you get a boy? You wanted to be different.
Well, I wanted it in my collection. I saw a boy, and this one is supposed to be dressed like Red Riding Hood.
Oh, yes, she is too.
Yes, I dressed her to be like Red Riding Hood. See?
She's gorgeous.
And that's what she is. She's supposed to be
Red Riding. She is Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, well, Robin wanted a Red Riding Hood doll, so.
And of course, then we have a vinyl doll.
Yes, a vinyl doll. She's quite old too. You can see vinyl dolls sometimes with age. They discolour.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, they discolour with age, unfortunately, with some of them.
And now the outfit.
Oh, no, I didn't make that one.
Actually,
I did.
Isn't this one I made?
Yes, it's one you made. You made that.
I made this one.
You made that, and I knitted the bonnet. Yes,
that's right.
You made that. You made that. Look.
I did too.
Yes, you made that for me.
Yes. She sits in our hallway, in our foyer.
Yes, there's a whole collection of dolls of mine in the foyer. Of old dolls. Yes, and yeah, Pandora made the dress.
I made that one. You forget what you make and what you do.
And the petticoat.
Little petticoat
and the
pants.
Yeah. And the pants, the whole outfit.
Yeah, didn't do too bad of a job. All right, so that is Rhonda's dolls and toys. And now we're going into your crafts. We're going to go into your crafts. But before we go there, your specialty in your crafts is, correct me if I'm wrong, red needlework?
No, it was counter thread work.
Counter?
Thread work. With embroidery. So
now you were a teacher as well with embroidery?
Well, I come from a family on both sides, my father's side and my mother's side. They're prolific needlewomen.
Wow.
I had two grandmothers who were tailoresses. So I didn't do much with needlework or crocheting because I didn't have to.
No, you did, because they did it all for you.
They did it for me. So it wasn't until we came to Campbelltown in '69 and I joined in 70 the Country Women's Association. And I started then to get involved with needlework. And then I did 4 years of tech. And then I got my teacher's badge through the Country Women's Association and my judge's badge, and then I got a job teaching needlework for 4 years.
So let's explain what needlework is for those that don't know. Should we start here?
Yeah, well, I only taught counted thread work, right? I didn't like surface embroidery, which some of the women might know, which is like your doilies and things like that. That wasn't me.
Right.
So what I've shown here, I got them to do a thing. It's the 4 lots of needlework I taught. First of all, we have, that's cross stitch. A lot of people would know cross stitch, right? That is cross stitch. So then the same pattern, this is called a sissy work, a sissy. A sissy work is that it comes from a city in Italy. You do the outline and then you fill the background in cross stitch. Where see with this, it's cross stitch, so it's reversed.
Ah, and I got them on the right way now how I do it.
Yes.
Because I know it by, I call them the bee.
I put a V on them.
There's a little bee.
I put a V on them.
Actually, they stand that way.
Yeah.
So if you can see the little bee, there's a little bee there. And they all have the same pattern.
They all have the same pattern. And then this one is pull thread. And you use a linen and you pull the threads together. It's not drawn thread, but you pull the threads out, you pull them and you get a lacy effect. And then the other is black work.
Black work.
Well, it also comes in colour. It's a geometric pattern. You outline them and you fill it in with geometric pattern.
Okay. I hope you're understanding all this.
This black work was the subject I liked a lot.
Now you had them framed, and you always write on the backs. So
you're supposed to write on the back the date that you did them and things like that.
Now these were made for your son Christopher.
Yes.
In 1989. There you go.
1989.
And they do hang in our foyer as well. Okay, so that's that part there. Then we go into
this is black
here.
Yeah.
No, this is, so you're calling this black work, but it's red.
Well, your black work is not always done in black on linen or Ada. You can do it in colour. And one of the things I got my class to do, they had to pick a building they had some association to, and they had to draw it up, and then they had to embroider it, and they had to find patterns that suited where it had to go. So you had to work out a pattern here. This house here is my grandmother's house, which was built in
let me just show you that.
1912.
1912.
At Canterbury. And this is actually I've taken it right from that photo. So then you had to find a stitch. See, we had slate roof, so I had to find a stitch that represented slate roof. So that was the whole idea of the exercise. They all had to have something and then create a pattern that you represent what you're doing.
So from a photo, you've put it onto...
Yes, I put it onto that.
Onto Blackboard.
That was the building that I had association with. The girls did churches.
This one up here.
Yeah, that one there is not there anymore. Is the one here in Campbelltown. It used to be, I think it's the one, yes. It used to be out part of the MacArthur estate on Appin Road, but it's not there anymore.
Is the house still there?
No.
That's not there, is it?
Unfortunately, where we lived that's the reason we had to leave there to come up to here, it was just down from Canterbury High School, and the government wanted the whole block and pull all the houses down to extend the school.
So what a beautiful memory to have in a photo and then embroidered. And again, that's in our foyer as well. We do have a big foyer, don't we?
Yes,
we have a lot of that.
We have a big foyer.
We have. So when we say we do live in the same house. So Mum lives upstairs and we live downstairs. So that's why we're not wearing masks, so we can with this COVID thing. So
yes,
that's why
that's very good.
It's good to have. And we have a lot in common, don't we?
Yes. Pandora and I have a lot in common.
We do.
We love shopping and things like that.
Just to show you something that I'm wearing that Mother bought me. Now, so that's our needlework, and then I want to go. Now, I've told you, I think it was last week, I did tell everybody how much you love Egypt. And you've been to Egypt, and
yes.
we designed and you did the quilt for Egypt. And here is another needlework that you've done.
Now, a lot of you might know her. It's Nefertiti, and which the bust of that happens to be in the museum in Germany. Egypt would like to have it back. Even when I was in Egypt at the museum, they were talking about having it back, but Germany won't give it back. They won't give it back. I did see the other bust of Nefertiti. It's like a pottery type that's in the museum there. So I did her, and then I found stitches that I thought would represent this, like it was.
You designed this yourself?
Yes.
There was no pattern or anything?
No, there's no pattern. All I took it from was a tiny little picture about that big.
Oh, wow.
A coloured picture that I found, which I blew up, and then I drew it onto that, and then I embroidered it.
It's beautiful because it's got gold thread as well, and yeah, it's
yes, I used the gold thread because that exactly is what the bust looks like. It has these colours in it. That's exactly, the bust is blue. Mm-hmm. She has blue and gold. That is exactly how the bust looks. If you see a picture of it, you will see those colours exactly the same.
Now you've got a lot of Egyptian memorabilia and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, this is only a very small piece of what we're showing you today. Now, and of course,
and one of my ladies.
One of your ladies. This sits in your bedroom?
Yes. This is Jane Austen.
Jane Austen. Remember I told you to remember Jane Austen?
I love Jane Austen books. So that's a Regency lady. I had a tiny little picture I found of that.
Oh, so you designed this one as well?
Yes I did. And then I actually drew the thing at the back, the cabinet.
Oh, okay, the little cabinet there.
Yeah, I drew that myself. That is a Regency style cabinet.
Mm.
And then I found patterns that represented the type of dress. I love fashion, and I went into what materials look like and found a pattern that looks something like it.
Wow. Told her she's a clever girl.
I had a go at making a doll.
She's not a rag doll. She's a cloth doll, isn't she?
She's a cloth doll.
Cloth doll, yeah.
Yes, a cloth doll.
She's beautiful. No, she's not mine. She does belong to Mum. She still stays upstairs with Mum.
Yes, yes. I did make a few others, but I ran out of room, so I gave them away.
With moves and stuff, you had to...
Yes, I had to.
Downsize.
I had to downsize a bit since then I've gone up again.
Yeah, she has. Does she have a name? Because she does name all her dolls.
Esmeralda.
Esmeralda.
And I did make one exactly like that for my sister-in-law, Jill, up there, yes.
Now, we didn't ask you if you had names for the other dolls we showed you.
I can't.
You got it? So this is Esmeralda.
That was Esmeralda.
So last week I showed you my techniques and what I do, and there's 3 different techniques with quilting.
Well, patchwork, people say quilting or patchwork, it's the both thing, but quilting is actually, it looks like this, which is the background of this, and patchwork is putting it together.
That's right. So now I did say to you she loves hexagons.
English piecing, yeah.
English piecing.
This one, that's hand sewn, that's machined.
So there's a little one here.
So that is, a lot of people know quilts are made by little squares, and that where you either hand sew them together or machine them together.
And you've got some needlework as well.
Yes, it says when life hands you scraps, make quilts.
And you do. You never get rid of your scraps because...
Yes, and that's what that's made of, little scraps
little
like
scraps.
that, and that's a bit of cross stitch. And then this is English piecing, and English piecing, you do it over cardboard.
Yes.
And then you pull the cardboard out when it's all sewn together.
Now, I just want to tell you a story about this one. So, you had a challenge.
Last year, Camden Guild, I belong to Camden Guild.
And so do I.
And so does it. And it was their 30th birthday.
Anniversary.
And I joined the guild the second year after it was formed. The challenge was that you had to have a wall hanging a certain size with 30 things on it.
Something with 30, representing
30.
And you pulled your hair out, and she got me involved, and I started pulling my hair out, and then we started working this out, and I kind of gave you a bit of an idea and let you run with it, and we thought, what about a tree?
Yes, yes.
What about a tree? So there are 30 hexagon flowers all around. Now, we had disagreements and agreements and disagreements with this one, and you nearly threw it in the bin, didn't you? And I said, no, keep going. And thank God she did, because look what she got for it at the end.
We won third, and it's viewer's choice. You win them. The quilts in the, as some of you who know about shows with the quilts, you have the viewer's choice, and the people vote for it. So all the people that came through voted for it. So that means a great lot, because you have non-quilters as well that just happens to like it. I didn't know that we won.
And this is what I was saying to you. Don't worry about what quilters think, because you were worried about, it's got to be this and it's got to be perfect. It's like, don't worry about what quilters think. Think about the people that don't know about quilts and let them decide.
That's what happened.
And look, I was so proud of you when they announced you with this. I nearly died. It was worth all the hard tears.
Well, we did have some slight disagreements, I must say.
But you know what?
Looking at things.
Disagreements and arguments, I think at the end of it, we achieved something that, you did it all. You did this whole thing. And I just gave little bits of hints and ideas, and that's all I did. But you really took it all, and then you added this to it, and then you added that to it.
And this I did a bit different. I actually bought the fabric already quilted.
That's right, yes.
I wanted to try something where you didn't have to have it quilted, so I actually bought it by the metre and then just applicated it all, and it worked. So
it worked beautifully.
It's a good way, ladies, of making a quilt. You just go and buy this already done, and then you can applicate something on it and then put a binding on it, and then it's your quilt. So
with quilting, you can have a quilt that goes over your bed. So last week you saw mine. Excuse me, I had mine on the back wall. That sits on my bed. You've done quite a fair few quilts for beds and stuff. And then if you don't want to make a huge
just make a wall hanging.
Make a wall hanging, something like that. You just put your rod through it and hang it. And again, this one sits in our foyer as well. So Your love for quilting, you've been doing it for quite a while. Well, 30 years at least, because
because I didn't start until I joined the guild. How I come to do that, I was teaching in down in Hollylee, and I was teaching embroidery in the morning, and alas, Audrey, we became good friends. She was teaching patchwork in the afternoon, and we decided she wanted to learn my style of embroidery and I wanted to learn this. She was making jackets. That's the first thing I made, so we changed. That's how I got into patchwork. Wow. So otherwise, and they already belonged to the guild, and that's how I got into it. Otherwise I might not have got into it.
I'm going to ask you a question now. Let's see how good your memory is. How many quilts and wall hangings have you made? You've made a lot.
I've made, and I've given them away.
You've given a lot away. I've got a lot.
Yes.
That you've made me and Christopher.
And my adopted daughter Michelle's got some of them, and somebody else. I forget who I've given them. I walk into a house and I say, oh, that was mine. I forgot to go to you and say,
your daughters, your sons, your grandson. Oh, it just goes on and on and on. My mum, she has hers. So you've made quite a lot.
With all of what I did over the years, my first love was always embroidery, and then my crocheting. I would say patchwork was the third thing with me.
Well, you got me into it.
Yeah, I got you. I got boys.
And Christopher. Yeah.
That is something you never expected your sons to take after you. Maybe
your sons?
Your daughter, but not your son. Both the boys. I don't have to make quilts now. Why should I? I've got two boys who makes them.
That's my alter ego she's talking about, okay?
So I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate in that respect.
And then you got into the love of crochet.
Oh, crocheting I started in the early 70s when I joined CWA. I always wanted to learn to crochet, and Mum's sister was a beautiful crocheter. I mean, they were all crocheting. I've got some very old stuff up that's come from my great aunts and things like that. And Auntie Lois was always going to teach me to crochet, but she never got round. She moved away. So when I joined CWA, that's where I started to learn to crochet, which most of you learn by doing granny squares and things like that. So that's where I started to learn to crochet. And crocheting is my love. It's my first love. Now I've got that much wool upstairs. I could start a shop.
Yeah.
Terrible with crocheting. I love crocheting.
Now I'm going to show you some of her crochet. Now, as I said, she loves hexagons. Now, not a lot of people can do this or have done this. This is a hexagon crocheted quilt.
This is Grandma's Garden. If anybody knows of the quilt Grandma's Garden, it takes people doing it 4 to 6 years because they get bored with it, and it's done English piecing like I showed you over the cardboard. So I decided I would crochet mine instead of sewing it.
Wow.
It still took me 4 years.
So this whole, it goes all the way down as across, as you can see. And it sits on your bed, or now it sits on your lounge now, doesn't it? Yeah.
There's 630 hexagons in it.
630 hexagons.
That's why people get tired of sewing it.
Wow. That's a lot.
I couldn't see why I couldn't crochet, because I couldn't see why, crocheting hexagons. So I like doing, as you know, I'm in the process of doing one now. I take a quilt layer, crochet it.
So this is one of your shawls?
That's one of the new I love doing star rugs. This was a new one I did this year.
This didn't take you very long, did it?
It took me a month.
A month?
About a month, I think. Something like that. I did that one. Because I like stars, and this was a different star, the way it went and the pattern went.
The colours are beautiful.
So it was something like that. This is.
I've got one too.
Yes, he's got one too. Yes, so I like doing this shape.
And I don't know if you can see the one beside.
Oh,
that's my shawl. Yes, I have a shawl. Now this is your latest one.
Now this is my latest one.
Now this is amazing. This has got how many different patterns or crochet? What do you call it? Because I'm not really into crochet. I don't know how to crochet.
I subscribe to Yarn Inspirations and brought out by the Crochet Crowd, which some of the ladies of crochet might know. This was brought out, started in July. It's called the Stay at Home Rug, and you had to subscribe to it. It was free, and it was a 5 weeks course with a tutorial and the written pattern. And it was for all of us who have been, with this COVID virus that's around. There's been a lot of quilts being made for people to stay at home, but they decided that, we crochet, so why couldn't we do something? This was a challenge because it has a lot of new stitches that were created especially for this rug in it, and there were textures that I hadn't even done myself.
No.
And you had to watch your count and things, but it was a challenge, and I kept up with it. There were about 6 rows every week, and I had it finished in time. I did add the border. They didn't have a border, but I added.
I love the border because it's got that.
It's got a different
border there.
I found a different border, so. Yeah.
This reminds me. I think I've said this to you. Very Mexican type style of rug, but the colours. It is the colours that do that, but some of your work in here is just amazing. I look at this and I think, wow, how? But you know what? I used to say that about quilting, so you never know. You never know. So this is your latest one. This is one you just finished.
Yeah, I've just finished this one with that. And I had all the wool, so I didn't have to go looking for it.
Oh, you've got a good stash, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
You've got a very good stash. Wool. Wow. So what's next for you? You never stop.
Well, I'm finishing this crocheting one that I'm doing at the moment. I'm determined to finish that. And another friend, she's roped me into doing another quilt.
Another quilt. Crochet quilt?
No, a quilt.
A quilt.
Quilt Mania, on the front of their Quilt Mania magazine, they've got this 50s quilt.
Oh, okay. It hasn't told me anything about this one.
It's on my Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
I haven't told the boys about that. Because I do have... Patchworkers always have UFOs, you can't help it.
Always. But in saying that, one of your collections that we haven't got any here, but one of your collections that you've actually gotten really into, you've always been into it, but you've really got into it. Because of COVID, we've been stuck at home, and we love shopping, okay? We love going shopping, and we do go to...
All the second-hand shops.
All the second-hand shops, all the Vinnies, all the... up shops, all that kind of thing, and we do a day of it. She wears me out, let me tell you. But we have a lot of fun, and we come back with a lot of stuff, don't we?
Well, one year we came back with your car was so full, the boot was full, the back seat was full, and my husband said, "My God, what have you got in
We
there?"
bought the shop.
We bought the shop because how would you feel we walked into a shop?
So this is us, hand in hand like this, walking in the shop, looking at it. As soon as we walked in, the lady at the counter yelled out, "Everything is $1!"
Except the wedding dresses.
Oh, except the wedding dresses. And we looked at each other. We looked at each other and we thought, we've died and gone to heaven.
We went mad.
We did. We went absolutely crazy.
Well, who wouldn't for $1?
Everything was $1.
$1 for that day. It's the first and only time.
Yeah, we've never come across anything like that.
Never come across it. It was the only time that we've come into like that. And it was quite a big shop.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't a small shop. It was quite a big
toys,
shop.
It
was just craft stuff,
crafts,
clothes, everything,
ornaments, bric-a-brac, just everything. It was just amazing. We had a lot of fun. So with COVID, we haven't had the chance this year to really do anything.
No, we haven't. So they're all shut.
Mother got into. Well, she kind of. What do we? She's gone shopping online.
Don't blame me.
It's not a fault. It's our fault actually. We taught her how to do shopping on eBay.
Christopher said, "Mum, I think we should join you onto eBay." Now they reckon it's the worst thing they ever did.
But you've been collecting a lot of plates.
Oh yes, I've had them coming from England. I've made friends with Joyce in England. I've had stuff coming from her. I've got now some coming from America. All around Australia.
You've got a love for ships as well.
Oh yes, I love it.
And you've got each
Kipper ships.
Every wall has a section. I'd love to do a walkthrough one day just to show you Mum's plate collection and what she's got. So she's an amazing collection. So
with this time, how things are, people keep saying, "How am I?" My days go so quickly.
You've adapted.
I have adapted, very true. I have an iPad and I'm always on it. From the moment when I get up till I go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning.
It's been the 2 years since you've actually turned your TV on.
I haven't had, unfortunately, when my husband passed away, it'll be 3 years next month.
Next month, yes.
And the television hasn't been on since then. And but prior to that, I was using my iPad because when I was sick with the cancer, you boys bought me my first iPad. Since then, I've got one of the biggest ones you can get.
Yeah.
So I prefer my iPad, and I get to watch all the old movies and things like that. And now that I can shop, I go out once a week and do my grocery shopping. I go and visit my girlfriend Jenny on a Wednesday. So I'm not missing the shops.
No, not at all now.
Not at all. And I find the bargains. I shop around, and I really find you can find bargains on eBay, and I especially like it when it says free postage.
Oh yes, we all love free postage.
And I've done very well. I really have, and I love just going and looking at what people have put up for sale, and I like to see what they've got that I've got and what they're asking for. And I think, oh, I've got that widget stuff, and I'm thinking, I've got that. No.
Oh, look how much that is now. Oh, yeah, I do the same. Well, we might get you on the show again and show you plates and that kind of thing.
The plates.
Well, like I said, this was only a very small amount of collections and art and crafts that Rhonda does. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing all her toys, her collection, her crafts. And I really want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's my very first guest, so I'm quite happy to have you here. And like I said, we have a lot in common, and we do share a lot. So we always throw each other ideas and things that we're doing. So we're always keeping busy, aren't we?
I'm very, very lucky. I've got Pandora likes all the stuff that I like. Not everybody has that privilege.
Yeah. So that's why we call it Quirky Crafts and Collectibles. So thank you so much, and thank you for watching. And if you really enjoyed the show, please give us a like. It really helps the show. And give us a comment. Tell us what's your favourite item that Rhonda has done. Do you like her dolls? Do you like her crafts? What, we'd love to hear from you. So until next time, make sure you subscribe too, so you'll know. And I've got something very, very special coming up very soon too, so don't miss that. So until next time, I'm Pandora Box. This is Rhonda.
Thank you.
Chookers!
Bye.